everyone, and welcome to Season 4, Episode 36 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host, Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches in Lucha Underground history with match number 15 on our list, which is the Lucha Underground Championship match between the champion, Johnny Mundo, and the challenger, Rey Mysterio, from the August 23rd, 2017 edition of Lucha Underground, which was the Cueto Cup Finals. So earlier on this countdown, we talked about the actual Cueto Cup Finals between Prince Puma and Pentagon Dark that saw Prince Puma win and ultimately go on to challenge for the Lucha Underground Championship at Ultima Lucha Tres. Running concurrently to that was this feud between Johnny Mundo and Rey Mysterio, and they did a great job building it up as being the main event of this show. So, a really big, almost like Clash of the Champions feeling, episode of Lucha Underground where you get the finals of the tournament and this big, hyped for several weeks title match. Lucha Underground actually announced this match several weeks before it happened, to really drive home the build-up. You have an easy match here that, the greatest professional wrestler of all time, Rey Mysterio, is challenging for the Lucha Underground title, and that, should be good enough to write itself, but then you added, these guys had, some match in 2009, I want to say, back in the WWE, where Mundo ultimately won the Intercontinental title from Rey Mysterio, so you kind of add that into the mix, and then they also made this match quite personal. They had Johnny Mundo attack Rey's son Dominic, who's now a wrestler in the WWE, but at this time it was, oh my god, that's, little Dominic that, Eddie Guerrero said he was his poppy to, right, in 2005. So really startling to see, how much he had grown up. So he got physically involved in an altercation with Mundo. So they did a really, really excellent job building this up as, a title match that everybody wanted to see. And also, given that earlier in the night, Prince Puma won the Cueto Cup, had kind of been starting this path to heeldom, with the Vampiro stuff. It was really interesting to see because it kind of left, questions as to who was going to win this match. Would Mundo retain? And would, they relive that classic feud, from the very first episode of Ultima Lucha, or of Lucha Underground? Or, would they do a rematch of the Ultima Lucha Dos main event, which we just talked about the other day, with Rey and Puma, this time with Puma, even slightly more heel than he was in the first one, and this time for the belt. So, really, I would avoid the spoilers when Lucha Underground aired, because I liked watching it, episodically. It made it more fun that way for me. So I really had no idea at the time who was going to win this match. So it was a lot of fun. This match, I think at the time, I maybe didn't love it. Like, I thought, for the most part, it was good, but there's a lot of overbooking and stuff like that that just really didn't work too well for me. But watching it now in 2021, I was able to let all of that go, and this is just a really fun ride of a match. Great spots. I talked about this in the Puma match. Another just great Rey Mysterio performance, in, I guess we'll say, kind of the twilight of his career. Maybe the Puma match was a little bit more impressive, with hanging with Puma, whereas here this was a little bit more, I hate to say it, like sports entertainment-y, but still, big spots, great drama, excellent match. And Rey Mysterio is really underrated, because I'm not going to say, and I should say he's underrated, he's held in high regard, but to finish my thought, he's kind of underrated as a brawler, which is weird to say because he's not like, your typical brawler. He still does his kind of lucha spots, but he can really ramp up the aggression and make it believable. And I think that's something that he really doesn't get a lot of credit for. And he does that in the early goings on. He's really aggressive coming at Mundo. Like I said, they'd made this feud personal. He hits a big head scissors on the floor, launching Mundo into the guardrails. Really good stuff showing that, yes, this is a match for the title, but, Mundo took it too far. Mundo's first really big offensive move to start a comeback in the match is the Dean Malenko style, gut buster from the fireman's carry position off the top rope or the second rope. So I loved that as a callback, shows that Mundo, knows his history and knows, the big moves that Rey's taken over the years, and he puts that one to work. They do a really good juxtaposition here with just both guys' different mentalities. Rey's using a lot of cradles and quick pins and things like that, trying to win the belt. Whereas Mundo, lets the frustration get to him and, goes for more like labored pins and, doesn't always hook the leg and gets frustrated when Rey kicks out. And it seems like, that could eventually lead to Mundo's downfall because of how motivated Rey is to win this match. Mundo, again, he's a great heel, especially in Lucha Underground. He goes to the eyes, to take over. He does, the belly slide that Rey Mysterio is known for to take over. He does a really good job at cutting off Rey when Rey starts to really get that offense moving. Rey again, phenomenal spots in here. He hits a headstand on the ring apron into a head scissors on the floor. He follows that up with a tope con hilo into a Hurricane Rana, much like, he hit against Eddie Guerrero at Halloween Havoc 97, so I loved that. One of the best matches ever. But again, Mundo cuts him off because he springboards into a super kick, right? Very Shelton Benjamin, Shawn Michaels-esque, and they use that as a big cutoff. Mundo, again, he hits the rope-assisted Moonlight Drive, while Rey's like hanging on the ropes, kind of how he beat Evan Bourne in 2009 WWE CW. They had a great match there. You should check it out. So he hits that. Again, it's not enough for 3, so he starts to go to Rey's mask and claws and rips at the mask, as any, great Lucha main event generally does. But again, Mundo's so good because not only can he be that aggressive heel, but he's also not afraid to, show a little bit of ass and kind of almost like comically, get himself in trouble. So he goes for like a baseball slide and a trio whoa, and Rey sits up and, he crotches himself on the post and, does a great job really selling that. We get a really long fight over, Mundo going for an Alabama slam, while, Rey is holding onto the ropes for dear life, eventually turns it into a spinning Canadian destroyer, which is really cool. Again, Mundo kind of shows off some strength and power. He blocks the 619 and hits like a Canadian backbreaker drop. Rey gets a split-legged moonsault for a super good near fall with the hand on the rope. I always love the hand on the rope as opposed to the foot. It's even more dramatic. So they did a really great job with that. And then Rey hits this crazy seated senton from the top over the ring post to the floor onto Mundo, which was wild. Looked great. Mundo based great for it. In the ring, Rey hits the seated senton again, hits the quebrada, the lion soul, into the satellite DDT that he hit in the Prince Puma match. He goes for like a cascading Hurricane Rana, but then spins and turns it into a victory roll instead. But with the victory roll, he launches Mundo into the ropes for 619 position, but the referee gets bumped. And this is where the shenanigans start to kick in. Mundo hits a low blow. He hits Roderick Strong's end of heartache move, which is like the orange crush suplex into the double knee backbreaker. I don't really remember Mundo busting that out aside from that match. Maybe he has, but kind of took me by surprise watching this back. And he goes for the title belt. So the title belt had been a bit of a story here. Obviously, it's a title match, but Mundo had been using the belt to clock people. So he goes, for this belt shot, and Dominic comes out and stops it and hits a big football tackle. Matt Stryker had been putting over on commentary that, Dominic is grown in size and he's been playing football in school. So he gets this big football tackle. Rey gets the 619. He hits a springboard frog splash. But Dario Cueto pulls the referee out. Dario Cueto, being the proprietor of Lucha Underground, didn't really get himself involved in the actual action too many times. He'd have grudges with wrestlers that he'd try to kind of screw, but he'd never really get physically involved. Mundo actually decked him, early on in season 1. So kind of funny here that, Dario's, really first kind of physical involvement is helping Mundo. So he pulls Rey out, punches Rey, and Rey blasts him with a great 619. So again, keep in mind, Dario Cueto is not a trained professional wrestler. He is an actor that was used to portray this fantastic character. And he takes a wicked bump off the 619. It really looked great. But during all of that chaos, it allows Mundo to grab the belt, hit the belt shot, while the referee's checking on Dario Cueto and hits Starship Pain, or the End of the World as it was called in the Lucha Underground universe, for the 3 to crush the dreams of Rey and officially set our Ultima Lucha Tres main event of Mundo and Prince Puma one last time. This match is so fun. Like I said, it's a great roller coaster ride, a great performance from Rey, great performance from Mundo. You know, at the time, maybe didn't love the overbooking, but watching it now, it works. It's fun. Dario's great. And like I said, he takes a great 619 bump. This match is just, it's a wicked ride. And again, it's kind of in that, you know, late season 3 era where I feel like Lucha Underground started to lose a lot of its buzz. But so, you know, maybe this match went under a lot of people's radars, but it is really, really excellent and worth your time. Depending on where you live, you can find Lucha Underground on the Tubi app. If that's not possible for you, Google search it. You can find these episodes on various streaming websites. You can subscribe to my channel here on YouTube so that you never miss a video. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling50. And please join me again tomorrow as we continue to count down Pro Wrestling's Top 50. Top 50.